Boy, does misery love company. It turns out that Black Lives Matter are currently suing the Soros-backed Tides Foundation for over $33 million going missing. Before I discuss exactly what's going on here, please, if you enjoy what you hear in this video, then like and subscribe for more political commentary. So, outright, BLM has done as much, if not more, harm to Black Americans than the Me Too movement did to rape victims and their credibility. Now, back when BLM started, of course, it made no damn sense that they were able to spread as fast as they did, got as organized as they did, without some extraordinary amount of funding. And for many years, BLM did not have a 501c3, which makes them tax-exempt from donations through the IRS. This isn't to say that public or private donations from various American citizens hasn't kept the organization afloat. However, the amount necessary at the current scale of Black Lives Matter is in question. And the recent lawsuit against the Tides Foundation by BLM has shed some light on what kind of scale we're talking about. As stated before, BLM is now suing the Soros-backed Tides Foundation for over $33 million going missing. In short, the Tides Foundation is another one of these organizations for social justice, equity, and yada yada yada. And it's only recently that this lawsuit against the Tides Foundation has gained any real traction. And the funny thing is, it isn't even new. Relatively speaking, of course. Articles from the New York Post, which are popping up right now, detail the same information as this article from CharityWatch.org that I found that dates back to May 7th of 2024. The first article says, quote, Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation, BLM-GNF, a 501c3 public charity, sued its former fiscal sponsor, Tides Foundation, or simply Tides, for breach of oral contract, fraud in the inducement, negligent misrepresentation, conversion, unfair competition, accounting, unlicensed banking activities, and breach of fiduciary duty, according to a complaint filed May 3rd, 2024. So again, while recent, this is an old complaint that has been filed, and the reason why it's gained any real traction is actually, if we switch over to the New York Post, this article here, in the third little section here, says that the lawsuit was filed last year, but the stakes were raised on Monday by BLM-GNF, which oversees its other regional operations, asked the California Attorney General to step in and investigate Tides. And it gets worse. If we scroll down, it says here, even during the course of the lawsuit, BLM-GNF accuses Tides of spending $6 million of their donations, despite promising to freeze any cash belonging to the group during the litigation, according to one of their lawyers. The $6 million that Tides is accused of spending came from BLM. So in effect, Tides is using the donation money gained from Black Lives Matter in the litigation defense against Black Lives Matter. So this is clearly a long-time practice by the Tides Foundation. They promise to help out, they get a hold of the funds, they put it all together in what appears to be a slush fund, and then they distribute all of the money however it is that they choose. So there's no real telling without a deep audit by the government to check how much of the money has been skimmed off the top by the Tides Foundation over all of these years. And with the lawsuit claiming that over $33 million has gone missing, it tells me that Black Lives Matter has paid attention to this to some degree for many years. Now, if we return to the CharityWatch.org article, the second and third paragraphs don't really tell us much. They just define the timeline for the 501c3 for Black Lives Matter being started in October of 2017, but not going through until 2020. And the reason for the 501c3, for anyone who is unaware, is that the donations were not considered tax-exemptable, meaning the IRS taxed BLM for every donation they received. So the funding behind BLM had to be in enough excess to not only cover the taxation, but keep the lights on and everything else. This is why the circumstantial evidence against BLM as being backed by George Soros and his countless organizations, as well as USAID and so much more, has been accusatory at best. Again, this is circumstantial. However, with USAID being shut down and a surge of ads across YouTube, Twitch, and all of these other platforms across the board all trying to vie for as much money as possible, the actions tell me something is missing. In this case, the funding. And with 2024 coming to a head between Trump and Biden, thank God Trump actually won, the lawsuit being filed tells me two different things were of a concern for BLM at the time. The first being that Trump ultimately winning means that there is going to be a crackdown from the top down against BLM, and there will be a significant decrease in their support, as there already was at their height in 2020. Second, the continuation of BLM after losing over $33 million is a valid concern from their perspective. Now, I've always said, of course, listen to what people have to say, but actions speak louder than words. If they say one thing but do another, then you know something isn't right. In this case, the Democratic nonprofit Tides Foundation skimming money off the top for themselves. To me, this action is further evidence that almost everything is about making money on the left. Outcomes be damned. It is further evident that, as anyone with enough functioning brain cells can conclude, that BLM, like Antifa, are useful idiots being puppeteered as foot soldiers to quarrel with us in the streets and online, further dividing our attention instead of focusing on the main problem. The wizard behind the curtain, as it were. And it's funny because, frankly, I don't know who to root for. It's like watching a mad scientist be done in by his own creation. Personally, I'm more interested if there is an audit, considering that the California courts are getting brought into this. I want to see if there's any way to track down where the money went. Most everyone already knows that these Democratic organizations are incestuous. They fund each other and quote themselves and other related groups because they don't actually want to do any reporting on the ground. But if there's an actual audit, depending on how this lawsuit goes, we're going to find out real fast who's in whose pockets. So in the meantime, I'm just going to sit back with my bucket of popcorn, wait to see the results, and quote Dr. Sarazawa.
Let them fight.
Anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, then please like, share, and subscribe for more political commentary, pop over to my main channel, Albeleo, for movie reviews and discussions, or head to my tertiary channel, Balmorian Galaxy, for BattleTech and MechWarrior. I thank you again, and I hope to see you in the next video.